So Monster Hunter takes many of the tropes that people are familiar with from other action RPGs and just kind of nopes out about them, which tends to lead to a good deal of people bouncing off the series before really even understanding how the game wants to be played. We're going to cover some of the basics here for new or potentially skeptical players to cut down on some of that culture shock, if you do wind up trying it out. This isn't a comprehensive guide. Think of it more as here's how to have the best chance at a clean start and have some fun without me holding your hand the entire time we've left the keys in the bowl. We're going to use some footage from both Monster Hunter World and Wilds. The general rule should still apply once we get to full release of Wilds, since it seems like a return to the more simulation-y based gameplay of World, as contrasted with the arcadey feel of Rise. So one of the first questions people tend to ask me is, okay, so how do I level up? Let's get this clear right out of the gate. Character levels like in Elden Ring or Witcher or like similar games really aren't a thing here. You have two ways to progress and you're going to need both. First, you'll want to become best friends with this person. She'll help you craft better armor and weapons by hunting monsters and then using the face of that one critter that was trying its best to filter you and make it into a new helmet. And then you go off and murder its friends with his friend's face on your face to be better stabby. It's cathartic, if a bit morbid. Second, level up your player skill by learning more about that specific monster's movesets, weaknesses, resistances, and the systems as a whole available to you. In the spectrum of skill-based versus knowledge-based games, which could be its own video, to be honest, Monster Hunter tends to live more on the skill-based end of things. Yes, you can have the best understanding of a fight and mechanics and build crafting, but you still need to press the correct buttons at the correct times, or you're going to have a bad time. For contrast, one-button PoE builds are on the far opposite side of this spectrum. All right, second, mind your surroundings. The environment in Monster Hunter games is far, far more than just a pretty skybox and an arena to fight in. Unless you're in a literal arena quest, in which case, you got eyes, use those. Resources to craft items on the fly, breakables to drop things like sharp rocks or mineral deposits or ice on a monster, collapsible areas, ledges to jump off of and mount the monster, the list goes on. Also, the monster can use some of those too. Try to think beyond, I'ma go beat this monster with my giant bonky stick, for best results here. Third, use the poop, Luke. Return to Monkey and fling some poop. Yes, you heard me right. Dung pods can be crafted from piles out in the world or purchased from merchants. These work with your slinger. This is your fancy forearm-based slingshot of doom to dissuade the monster's extra friends from hanging out and making your life miserable, or when another critter tries to come third-party the fight and get easy kills on both of you. It's like the head-on commercial, but with poop and a slingshot. Or don't, and maybe get so stupidly good at the game that you can multi-hunt consistently and then apply to Team Darkside and get all the internet clout. I don't know. You do you. Fourth, overall content arc and what'll be on offer. Monster Hunter games most commonly have a base game release, which includes things like low rank and high rank as the narrative campaign and side quests or optional hunts or bounties, etc. Over the lifespan of the game, Capcom tends to release event quests, crossovers, and free title updates without sliding into the live service nonsense. So far, later on in a title's life cycle, we commonly see additional DLC, which introduces a grip of new content, as well as the master rank difficulties. For this, think of Iceborne and Sunbreak for World and Rise, respectively. In terms of analogous experiences here, low, high, and master rank can be thought of in the normal, heroic, and mythic difficulties in WoW. It's not a perfect analogy, but it conveys the basic idea. Graduating from one to the next tends to feel a little bit like a wall, and drives you to interact with the crafting and upgrade mechanics we talked about just a moment ago. All right, fifth, planning the hunt. The fight with monsters starts before you ever leave camp. Yes, I know that sounds cliche and tired. This is not an exaggeration. This matters. Like it or leave. The flexibility of gearing and skill systems really open up the opportunity to change your setup with negligible cost. Yes, you'll have to craft more things so you can swap between them, but that's what the entire gameplay loop here is about. Build an armor and weapon that works well for you and brings appropriate resistances or skills to increase your effectiveness against the critter you're after. Swap back to a different build for your next hunt. Outside of that, be sure to eat food before you go. This can be done at your tent or any of the pop-up camps in wilds. We'll see if the Meowscular chef returns from World. 10 out of 10, best cooking montage. Fight me. These meals grant increases to stats, as well as bonus skills depending on the ingredients used. Early game, chef's choice, or the recommended platters are fine. As you progress through the game and start understanding the systems here, maybe start experimenting with the ingredients you use to fit your playstyle. Sixth, Sharpness. Once you're in the hunt, keep an eye on this gauge. Sharpness is profoundly significant for everything but the hammer. Since each monster's hide has an individual toughness level, if you fall below a specific sharpness, your attacks will bounce and suddenly you're not hitting the thing. And if you don't hit the thing, you don't kill the thing, which means the thing eats you. Bad time. Further, Sharpness applies a final damage modifier to your attacks, so white sharpness will do more than green, do more than yellow, etc. Do your best really to keep things topped off with the whetstone during the fights. When the monster moves to a new area, it's normally a pretty decent time to resharpen, and since you can do this now on your sacred, you have opportunities to sharpen mid-combat without sitting there like an afternoon Trisket. 7. Menu depth and customization. There's several settings in Wilds that could really stand to be changed from the get-go to improve your overall experience. This isn't all of them, but these are the most pressing. As a general rule, after you've found your feet here, really dig in with all of the different UI options and menu options. You can significantly change the way the entire game plays. First and foremost, though, bring your camera distance out to the max, because seeing more means you'll hopefully get hit less since you can see more hits coming. Camera focus mode, just swap this to normal. They've tried to capture that cinematic Dark Souls or Elden Ring monster fight camera by default, but this makes your life much harder than it needs to be. Set it to manual. Drop camera shake and other similar options down. Since there's groups of things going on already that you have to pay attention to, are you making machinima? No? Turn those down so you have a better clarity of circumstance, yeah? Sacred Auto Explorer. Just no. Turn this off so you don't wander around while mounted unless you have a waypoint selected in the map. Yes, this is a small thing, but it's profoundly annoying in my experience at least. Auto Sheath. Turn this to manual. Yes, it's an extra button press, I know. The granularity of control will help you as your own player skill improves. Get used to it early, and don't accidentally have the game decide it's a great time to sheath when it's really not a good time game. 8th. Skills, elements, and gear. Outside of defense on armor pieces, which you'll level up with armor spheres as you complete bounties and whatnot, the main benefit of specific gear pieces comes in the terms of the skills and set bonuses unique to those pieces. Historically, this is more a thing you'll encounter in high and master ranks because there's greater degrees of customization, but the earlier you wrap your head around the concept, the more effective you'll be. Open the skill info and equipment info panes to see breakdowns of each skill level's benefit, what the skill does, how that breaks down from level 1 to level 7, and embrace the balancing act of getting through ranks in things which fit how you play without having glaring shortcomings. You will have shortcomings in any build. Choose your flavor of weakness. In terms of defensives, keep an eye out for Health Boost and Divine Blessing. These tend to be the strongest defensive perks early on, and help you live long enough to learn what you're doing wrong. Other honorable mentions are Critical Boost, Weakness Exploit, Earplugs, Guard, Agitator, and a couple others, but beyond the scope of this video. Weapons in Monster Hunter are either what's referred to as raw, without an element, or elemental, water, ice, dragon, electric, fire, poison, paralysis, etc. Every monster is strong and weak to specific elements, so build additional variants of your favorite weapon to fit the hunt. provided your weapon type does better with elemental instead of raw. Dual blades, for example, fit in here. You're going to have just an entire chest full of dual blades if you enjoy the playstyle. 9th, weapons. You could be forgiven for thinking that there's a best weapon in Monster Hunter to delete entire species with one click, oh my god, based on YouTube titles and thumbnails. Let me be the harsh, jagged rocks of reality upon which dreams are smashed for a second here. For 99% of players, this isn't the case. Yes, that includes me, too. Every weapon is viable. It's a question of which you vibe with the best. Historically, I've really enjoyed the Charge Blade before Savage Axe was a thing. Bow, sometimes dual blades. You might hate those. Play what you like. This is a solo or co-op PvE game. Unless you're a speedrunner, you don't need to chase the mathematically perfect thing, and that mathematically perfect thing might just not work for you because you can't wrap your head around it. That's fine. Does it matter if some other build kills the thing 90 seconds faster than the one you like and have fun playing? Well, again, not unless you're a speedrunner or you dislike the core gameplay loop of fighting monsters to upgrade your gear to fight monsters better. In which case, maybe reevaluate how you're spending and measuring fun, yeah? Alright, bonus tip. See this? If you play with other people more than rarely, as soon as you find this skill on gear or as decoration, make it work. Yes, you'll lose out on stats. I know, I don't care. It annoys me. I get it. This matters. Not flinching your teammates every time you attack, especially if you're a fan of a weapon that has a wider reach, let's say. Longswords. Yes, you. Not flinching your teammates reduces the number of people who really want to strangle you in your sleep. And I don't know about you, but I try to keep that number as low as is reasonably possible. So, there we go. Bare minimum primer to give you the best shot of enjoying the game if you try it out during the last beta, or pick it up on full release February 28th. I've been Bald Squid. I'll see you next time.